Welcome to tonight's edition of the Clown Hour. I'm your boy Scott Burks, and this is my co-host Wayne Nash. Please check him out on the Yard HBCU Sports, who raps about all things HBCU Sports, as well as Sleazy Radio every Tuesday night on Facebook Live, rocking the New York Giants old school cap. And also check out this great.
You got it right. All right.
My mother is a Brooklynite. She loves the Brooklyn Dodgers. She doesn't care for the Los Angeles Dodgers, mind you, because it's broke her heart, and she's almost 80 years old. But the point is, she still remembers that. She keeps a grudge. But anyway, I'll get to more of that later. But the point
we get to that later. I don't want to interrupt your intro.
But that's okay. But the point is, check out this brother also on herosports.com. Writes good shit about FCS sports as it pertains to HBCU sports. That's your boy here. This is my blog, The Klown Times, the blog component to the Clown Hour. Please check me out on www.theclowntimes.net. Check me on Facebook as well. So we're on your smartphone, laptop, desktop, wherever you are, wherever you may be. Please check us out there. Just type in the search window, The Clown Times. You'll find us there as well. I didn't realize I didn't have the mute button on the TV. I was watching the Philly and Atlanta game. I'm like, why am I still listening to? I'm a fucking mess. Anyway, two last things. Please hit the subscribe button on the lower right-hand corner of your screen. We got 90 subscribers. Once we reach 100 subscribers, I'm gonna throw a party. I don't care if it's minuscule or not. That's a milestone. We're grinding. That's what makes this grind fun. But anyway, hit the subscribe button there. Hit the share button. Hit the like button. Please comment. We love your comments. So you just keep spreading the word. I mean, hey, I love the comments. So anyways, please do that as well. And one more thing, get the merch.
Get the merch.
Get the merch.
Get the merch.
CafePress.com, search for the Clown Time Sports. The address will be in the description area once we upload this video tomorrow afternoon, and you will find the gear there as well. So we got some big NBA day today as far as injuries, coaches getting fired. This won't be the last of the coaches getting fired, I don't think, depending on how some certain series ends, which we'll get to later on this podcast. But let's just start with the big news. Kawhi Leonard hurt I think he sprained his ACL.
It was either ACL or TCL, one of the two.
Yeah.
It's one of the CLs.
Right.
Not
which
CLs,
pretty bad.
But yeah.
Which is pretty bad
pretty
regardless.
Bad, yeah.
But if it's feared that he tore it, whichever the CLs it was, it's feared that he tore it. If he tore it, he's gone for good. He's gone for at least for a year. Right? He may be, if he pushes his rehab, he may be back before the All-Star break. If it comes out to be a tear, especially an ACL tear, excuse me. But right, they're not saying if it's a tear right now. But either way, it sucks for the Clippers.
Yeah.
They've outplayed the top-seeded Utah Jazz the entire damn series, but they blew game one. They should have won game one. Coming off of game 7, they outplayed Utah, but they ran out of gas in the end. Even they still had a chance to at least tie it to send it to overtime. And then in game 2, they fell behind big, but they battled back to take that lead. And late in the second half, and still had a shot to win it. So theoretically, they should be up at least 3 games to 1, if not a clean sweep. They just played better than Utah. But you all know that Utah, I mean, for them to play as well as they have at Salt Lake City on the road, there of all places, lets you know how better of a team the Clippers are than Utah is on paper, and they play like it. But they hadn't shown up on the scoreboard to tie 2-2. But now, with Kawhi being out, you might as well pistol in Utah for the conference championship, because I don't think Paul George is going to play like playoff P when it's all on him. History would tell you, in these days in Indiana, which was reaching his prime, he was not that guy. He got beat by LeBron, and whether it's the conference finals when he was with the Heat or semifinals or first round, he was with the Cavs. He's not that guy. So unless Marcus Morris comes along to the rescue, or maybe Reggie Jackson hits some big shots. I don't see it. I think Utah's going to win the next 2 games.
You and me both, right?
I think they're going to win the next 2. They're going to win. They play tonight, right? I think they play tonight. Yeah, they play tonight.
They do. Yeah, they do. So, they play at 10 o'clock, yes.
So they're going to win tonight. They're probably going to win big. And then they're going to win. They're going to go to LA and finish them off. It'll probably be a spirited game. But I think the winners have been taking out the Clippers' sails, which sucks. Again, it sucks. Injuries are the ultimate equalizer in sports, especially on the highest level.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad for the Clippers. I feel bad for the tens of Clippers fans. And I just feel, I'm petty. And I feel for the NBA because Kawhi is arguably its biggest star left in the playoffs, was this biggest star left in the playoffs. And he's gone.
Yeah. To that point, we'll wait and see exactly how long that's going to be. Right. And second biggest star, and Chris Paul is out indefinitely, but we'll get to that in just a moment. I want to go ahead and talk about this series. You're right to say that we could pencil in Utah advancing to the Western Conference Final to face Phoenix. But the thing is this, you still got to play the games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we still don't know exactly how things are going to pan out just yet. But based upon what we've seen, it appears as though that Utah is going to be that team that's going to advance. And whether or not it's going to be in 6 or 7 is we have to wait and see.
Right.
The thing is, though, to your point, yes, LA has outplayed Utah, but the thing is, and you know this, everybody that's watching this right now, and under the sound of my voice knows this too, you got to play the full 48. You got to. And that's,
you're right.
And as well as the Clippers have played or outplayed Utah in Utah for about 45 minutes, it ain't enough. You got to play the full 48, Playboy. Yeah. And that's why you're in this situation. Had they done that, they probably wouldn't be in this situation right now. They will probably be prepared to play Phoenix right now.
Yeah, because it'll be a sweep. They should have swept them.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to be real about it, again, the first game, they were coming off a 7-game series against Dallas.
And we're up big.
Big in Utah.
Yeah.
That should tell you how good this Clippers team is, how deep this team is.
The bad thing is, though, Utah knew. You could hear Devin Mitchell on the bench. We talked about this last week. You could hear Devin Mitchell telling his teammates, hey, they're going to get tired. All we got to do is just keep playing the way that we're playing right now. We're going to catch back up and we're going to make this competitive, which is exactly what happened. So, yeah, gotta want to feel bad for him in game 1, but, you got to close out. You just got to do it. And they were unfortunately unable to do so. And
this is a team that's been fragile down the stretch, bro.
Yeah. And, it's unfortunately in this organization's DNA.
Right.
Regardless of what pieces you move out of it, I've talked about it before. Everyone else that you blame in the Clippers organization for being an issue from the owner on down has been removed. Now you're basically almost with an entirely new roster and with a new coaching staff, and
there's no excuse.
The same old LA Clippers.
There's no excuse. It's no fucking excuse. They know it, and we all know it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just the way it is. So more of the story is, fans, ladies and gents, and kiddies out there, you probably shouldn't be watching this because of language, but still, memo out there is this: take care of your business. Because you never know when it's going to come up short. Period. So, again, just might as well just pencil in Utah to face Phoenix in the Western Conference Championship round. And speaking of Phoenix, Chris Paul, another gut-punching news. Out indefinitely in COVID-19 protocol. Now, it was said that, like Matt Barnes, on the jump, ESPN said that Chris Paul reached out to him and said that he has been vaccinated.
Okay.
So he won't be out as long as we originally would believe had he not been vaccinated. And for any adult who has been vaccinated right by now, What the fuck are you doing? But that's another podcast for another time. But anyway, the point is, Sam Darnold, I'm looking at you, young man. But the point is that
there's a lot of NFL players we could be looking at right now.
Yeah. It's just so damn stupid. But nevertheless, Chris Paul probably won't be out as long as we suspected, which would be good for Phoenix and good for the NBA.
Yes.
And good for the fans. Because let's face it, a lot of people are probably pulling for Chris Paul right now. This is the second time in the conference championship round. First when he was with Houston, before he got hurt against Golden State, which, let's be real, if he stayed healthy, they would have beaten Golden State.
If they would have stayed healthy and somebody would have pulled that entire team to the side and say, hey, stop shooting these damn 3-point shots.
Yes.
Shoot closer, please.
They would have been
win this game.
They would have been the NBA champs.
Yeah.
Because they would have beaten Cleveland.
Yeah.
So anywho, the point is that he gets his second shot, and then hopefully he'll be able to take it on. I'll say this, man. The way it's looking right now, if Phoenix remains at full strength, or Chris Paul's shoulder doesn't give him any more problems, he gets to rest the shoulder. Mm-hmm. That's the good news of them sweeping. Again, take care of business.
TCB.
Yep, they took care of business against the Denver Nuggets and the MVP Nikola Jokic. Then he gets the rest, and again, I love Phoenix's chances. I love their chances against Utah, to be honest with you. I do
right
because look at how the matchups are. If against Memphis, I'm going back a few around against Memphis, Rudy Gobert did not have to really guard anyone. No disrespect to Valanciunas, but he didn't really have to guard him unless he went down low on him. But then he didn't even have to worry about that. In this series, who's have to check?
DeAndre Ayton.
DeAndre, against Phoenix. I'm talking about against the Clippers.
Against the Clippers?
I think Marcus Morris maybe. Because the Clippers go small. So
they do go small. Sometimes they go Ayton. I can't remember what the center's name is off the top of my head in LA, but it's a guy that's been around.
Oh, Cousins, DeMarcus Cousins, maybe.
No, not Cousins.
But he doesn't start.
Is he starting?
No, he doesn't start.
Yeah, because he was coming off the bench.
I'll look it up right quick.
Period.
I'll look it up right quick. But
okay.
But the point being is that he won't. Once he plays against the damn Suns, it's gonna be different because he has to check. To your point, DeAndre Ayton. And Ayton's balling.
Yeah.
Ayton is balling out of control, and God bless him. I mean, he's just really playing his ass off. And go ahead.
And to what I told you off air, that was another guy who I was thinking about when just last night on HBCU Sports, I had the fellas rank the worst number one overall NBA draft picks over the past 31 years. Yes, 31's an odd number, but I wanted to include Purvis Ellison in the conversation. So with that said, DeAndre Ayton.
Zubac.
See, there you go. Right. I knew it was a guy who's been around in the league, was their starting center. So it is Zubac, yeah. DeAndre Ayton kind of was thought about in that conversation in that bottom 10, but I gave him a reprieve based upon how he's looked over the past 2 seasons. First couple of years, not necessarily looking like a number one overall draft pick. Technically still not, because he's not the star of that team. It's Chris Paul and Devin Booker, most definitely, but he's not looking out like a bust. He is most definitely the number 3 on that team, and a very strong number 3. And then he plays his role extremely well, giving them 20 and 10 on a regular basis.
Yeah. I gotta hate this for the Clippers, but hey, it is what it is. But I really like Phoenix's chances against Utah. And the fact is, I don't think Chris Paul got intimidated by playing in Salt Lake City. I don't think that Devin Booker, especially, is not going to be intimidated. I think looking forward to he's looking forward to making a guy I like a lot, Donovan Mitchell, look like a fool in front of his
own
crowd.
That's going to be a good matchup. Boy, can't wait. And the way that you talk about Chris Paul being the biggest star left, I mean, depending upon what happens with Brooklyn, because we know the big three.
Kevin Durant,
yeah, but still, even with Kevin Durant, look at it like this: Chris Paul has a better face, and I'm not saying that he's more attractive. I got 2 words for you: State Farm. So right. Yes, he's more of a spokesman, and he's the elder statesman for the league that's still remaining in the playoffs as we speak. So. Yeah, he's that guy in terms of those that are remaining. But of course, both Kyrie and KD have both won championships. Kevin Harden is also known, also as a former State Farm guy himself. Is also known, but they're not Chris Paul.
No,
they're not. No, but not. Let's be real here. Let's address the elephant in the room here, right? As bad as it is for the Phoenix Suns, that he might have to miss some games depending upon how all of this goes with the contacting and the evaluation of everything. It's the NBA being the NBA against Chris Paul again. I'm sorry. I hate being conspiracy theory, brother.
The 10 hat. 10
you know, hat. I hate to have to pull off the Giants ball cap and have 10-4 underneath of it. But this is the same organization that wouldn't allow Chris Paul to be traded to the Lakers, right? This is the same NBA that, oddly enough, just a couple of weeks ago, LeBron James also was in a situation where he may have been exposed to COVID, and he wasn't suspended. He continued to play.
They're like, yeah, you're good. Adam Silver's like,
don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
He
was technically not responsible.
Yeah, he might not.
Total bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, and the thing is, based upon our conversation, if they're saying that he contacted COVID by celebrating with the fans, which is I'm seeing a lot of people are alluding to.
Yeah.
Yo, the fans were allowed into the stadium, went to the arena. That means they need to start doing all types of contact tracing for everyone who was there.
That's a
this
super
is insane.
Waiting to happen, those arenas.
Yes.
Each of them a super spreader event.
Oh my God. I mean, it's as much as I'm wanting to go back outside, it's cautionary tales like this that make me rethink everything, where I'm like, yes, I've been vaccinated, but it's still you're only protected 90%. There's still that 10%. You know, so it is what it is. But hopefully he's able to return in the beginning of the Western Conference Finals. He doesn't have to miss any time. And the Phoenix Suns can just go ahead and just play without having to have Chris Paul miss any time.
Yeah. So we'll see. Speaking of, we talked about him already, Kevin Durant. I have an apology. I want to make a formal apology to Kevin Durant for not considering him as the best player on the planet right now. He pretty much proved he was in spades last night. And the game 5, is now the best of 3. It's a best of 3 now, where the Nets absolutely had to have that game. If they lose last night, they ain't winning in Milwaukee in game 6. It's over. The series will be over. And they knew that, which is why you saw that embrace between, I know it was meme to death, but that embrace between head coach Steve Nash, it's still funny to say that, head coach Steve Nash, and Kevin Durant at the end of the game, because they knew. They knew if this game, Brooklyn had no business winning that game. Milwaukee did everything stupid. Charles Barkley said the best in the first half at halftime. He said, and Milwaukee has some great guys as far as personalities. They're very likable dudes. Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. Of course, everyone loves Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, I got it right that time. these are all great dudes on and off the floor. They don't get into any trouble. They're not divas, but they're dumb. They're basketball-wise dumb. Okay, everything that went well for them, the ball movement, right? Even though they still sell for jump shots for reasons I don't understand, they were still up by 16 points, if I'm not mistaken. And they were up bigger than that in the second half. And then they resorted to hero ball. They being like Drew Holiday. I mean, because Chris Middleton did his damnedest to keep him in it. Props to him. But Drew Holiday and more so Giannis, I'm very disappointed in Giannis. Because he had smaller guys checking him the entire night. I don't think Durant checked him any time during that game. So because
wasn't forced to.
He was forced to because he was selling for jump shots. Why would he? Why would he check him? I mean, hell, he's already damaging himself. But anyway, the point being is that remember that sequence. I'm going to take you to two sequences. When James Harden on one leg was guarding Giannis in the post. I don't know if you remember this moment.
No, I didn't get a chance to watch anything.
Okay, well, good, because you'll be just as upset as I was.
I'm already upset. This is already sounding bad. The fact that James Harden on one leg is covering Giannis. Mouse in the house. Yeah. But yet you don't take advantage of this. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. But I mean, but dig this. They're on the block. Almost on the block.
And they're on the block.
Almost on the block. Jesus.
Help us,
when Landry Shamet went to kind of to help out with James Harden shoot him away. He said no, he didn't want the double team. He wanted to check him. He wanted to check Giannis straight up one-on-one.
The cockiness, my God.
And you know what Giannis did to take advantage of that situation?
He shot a jumper probably.
A turnaround jumper. A turnaround jumper on a guy he has at least 5 inches on. James Harden is 6'5". He's barely taller than me. Giannis is 6'10", 6'11". James Harden is 6'5", playing on one leg.
Help him, Lord. Essentially.
He resorts to a turnaround jumper instead of punishing him on the block.
Cover him, Jesus, my God.
Okay, and then the end of the game, when Chris Middleton they were down 1 at the time. Middleton gave him a sweet pass in the lane, and he fumbled it.
Oh my God! Cover him, Jesus.
He fumbled it. So he's not that guy. He's not that guy. He's never been that guy. Never will be that guy. And
you know who else ain't that guy though, Scott?
What?
The head coach. This is not This is not the first time
that
the Milwaukee Bucks have been suffering from this.
That part. Right.
They've been suffering from this several times in this series. They were suffering from it in the last series.
Yes.
Hell, they were suffering from this hero ball syndrome last year in the playoffs when they would settle for jump shots and not taking advantage of height situations. This is consistent. This is consistent from this team. Yo, you know what? Sometimes, okay, your players just might not be smart enough to realize that, hey, I need to go ahead and body this dude down low and take advantage of situations. If your player can't figure it out, your coach has to be able to say something.
Yes.
But you know what? That's one of two things that's an issue there, right? Because if he's not saying it, that's an issue. Right. If he's saying it and the players aren't listening, that's an issue.
Right.
So either way,
he has to go.
It's a problem, yo.
Yep.
And he got to, yo.
And one of the saddest thing about that is he's from the Coach Greg Popovich tree.
Yeah.
He should know better.
He should know better.
If you imagine if Greg Popovich looks at in this series.
Pop is watching the series, just like, what in the world is going on?
He's like,
here?
Bro, I taught you better than that. He's like, bro, I taught you better than this. Okay? They have a huge size advantage over Brooklyn. I don't give a two goddams that you got by the regular season hitting 3-pointers. You do like to quote the great Herm Edwards. You play to win the game.
Yes.
Hello, you play to win the game. You got a size advantage. First of all, what the hell is Brook Lopez doing, his big ass doing out on the perimeter? He's 7 feet tall. That's a waste of height. Put your big ass on the block. Have Durant, whoever the hell is, check him, and then make him work. Same with Giannis.
At least Robin is figuring it out. You know, I've watched Robin occasionally this year in Washington, and there were games in which he figured out, hey, let me get down low in this block. Let me develop a hook shot, which it's starting to come. It's starting to come. Yo, Brooke, learn something from your brother. Do the same thing, dude. My God, y'all should be controlling this series right now. And y'all not. Y'all gave up 49 points, 17 boards, 10 points to a dude who shot 70% from the field.
Yes. I mean, there's so many things that went wrong that you can lay up Budenholzer's feet, the head coach.
Yeah.
They didn't take advantage of the team size.
No, they didn't.
They didn't make Giannis get on the block and stay his ass on the block. Stop trying to make him blow a full head of steam and bulldoze with the lane through a few charging calls. Park his ass down on the block. Use his athleticism to get easier shots. At least make them work. Now, if you saw James Harden guarding him on one leg, why is he on the perimeter? You see the way when what's his name?
Basketball IQ.
Right. Blake Griffin, when he guards him, what does Blake Griffin do? He sags into the lane. Why? Because he and everybody else knows dude doesn't have a reliable jump shot.
No.
And they want him to take jump shots. They want him to beat them from the perimeter instead of hurting them down low. He's more effective. All right. Same thing with Middleton. Middleton's a damn good player on the perimeter, as is Drew Holiday. They're big guys. Have them go down. I mean, Middleton's probably 6'4", 6'5", the same as Drew Holiday, but they have the size advantage of a Kyrie whenever he's healthy. I don't think we'll see him again in the series, but have them go at James Harden. Why haven't they been going at James Harden? They're both plenty athletic. They can both get their own shot. Why is Budenholzer not doing this? Why? I would say why, Sway, but it's really how Sway. But the point is, even with Matt, God, I can't pronounce his last name. Young man from Notre Dame, white guy, damn good player, the bitch player. Matt Connaughton or whatever his last name is. I know his last name is Matt, but anyway, he was in the slam dunk contest. You know, he comes off the bench. He's 6'5", good 6'5", 6'6", 6'5". He has a height advantage over those guys. He's a spark plug off the bench. Why don't you have him parked in the corner? I mean, and then go do some work, because this is what happened. Even though, like, PJ Tucker, God bless him, he's a baller, he's a dog. Checking Kevin Durant. When Kevin Durant's on defense playing against him, he doesn't have to worry about Tucker, because what does Tucker do? He goes to the corner.
He goes to the corner.
He's a 3-and-D guy.
Yeah.
So if you're Budenholzer, run a pick and roll. I can't believe I'm thinking about this, and Budenholzer has it. Run a pick and roll with PJ Tucker and either what's his name, Middleton or Holiday. And have Holiday switch on him, and have Holiday go at KD. Make him work defensively. Or if whoever's guarding James, whoever is James Harden's checking, have that guy come up in the pick and roll, and have Chris Middleton or Drew Holiday put him on skates. Why can't I think about this? And Budenholzer hasn't. That's beyond me. That's beyond me.
It goes into that file that I just brought up earlier of reasons why he probably should no longer be head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks right now. Because just like the Clippers, all of the excuses that we talked about with them, even though not necessarily completely solved yet.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is changing around them now. Even Giannis and this Giannis evolution of him attempting to develop a jump shot, great for him. But I'm also going to need his basketball IQ to get better, and someone that needs to help guide him through that change is the head coach and the coaching staff. Yes. And if it's not working, then you need to get coaches in there that will, and that's becoming an issue with them as we speak. I'm trying to figure out why this is a recurring theme over and over again with this organization. I just don't get it. I really don't. But to answer your question from earlier, that cat's name is Pat.
Pat, that's what it is. Not
God,
Pat.
Is it Connaught? Is that how you pronounce his last name?
I think so. I butcher his last name every time. If he were to hear this show, he'd probably be mad at me, want to beat my ass.
Connaughton. It's Pat Connaughton.
Connaughton, yeah.
Pat Connaughton.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I keep calling him Matt. It's Pat.
Yeah, Pat Connaughton.
Yeah.
AKA Vanilla Thunder.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember in Notre Dame, he was a stud at Notre Dame. But anyway, he could have been a pitcher too, baseball pitcher. Didn't know that.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a damn good athlete. But being as it may, Milwaukee, I'm thinking I had the Central Division on my mind. Milwaukee is bigger.
Mm-hmm.
On paper, they're not as talented, but they're bigger. And they got one would think they have the coaching advantage because of that. And because, Steve Nash is his first go around and Budenholzer has been around. But I mean, this which feeds into the stories about if Milwaukee loses series, Budenholzer may be out of a job because he's a great regular season coach. That's been proven. He did it in Atlanta. And he's been doing it in Milwaukee. It's just he just falls short in the playoffs.
Yeah, but you know what though, and that's the reason why he's such a great regular season coach, because you got to play against all 29 at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you move on to the elite of the elite. You move on to the top, or the top 8 or the other 7 within your respective conference, and you got to play them on a regular basis, and you got to be able to figure them out and figure out ways to beat them at least 4 times in a 7-game series.
Right.
And the fact that they cannot, once again, this is, oh my God, Greg Popovich is somewhere rolling around in his bed where he's like, yo, I'm gonna need you to make better in-game adjustments, and you're not doing it. And one of them, of course, which we've already discussed, is his inability to get his team to understand, yo, we need to stop taking these outside shots and take higher percentage shots. Now, there's somebody out there saying, yo, old man, that's not how the game is played no more.
Right.
The game is outplayed outside the arc. I don't care. I don't care. Take the higher percentage shots.
Right.
You have a better chance of making those. Duh. You know what? 2 is better than 0. I understand that, yes, 3 is better than none. But we already know it's called a higher percentage shot for a reason, because you have a better chance of making that shot. And if I can walk away with 2 instead of walking away with none,
you take that every time.
I'm taking that every time.
Right.
So yeah, okay. How about this, right? Even if you want to go ahead and be this outside shooting team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just say you want to do that, right?
Yeah.
You can still do that, but just reduce the amount of attempts that you have and take better, higher percentage shots and get some points on the board until you're capable of making better outside shots. Duh. This is basketball 102. I'm not even going to say 101. It's 102.
102 even.
Oh, my God. Take the higher percentage shot. I don't care what generation you play basketball in. The point of the game is to get the basket in the hoop and to outscore your opponent. Yes, you can get more points by taking 3s, but you have a better chance of making 2s. Take those 2s, walk away with points, and you might win the game.
Right.
Especially in situations where you have the advantage. It's not like they're being forced to take 3s because they don't have a height advantage, at least. They have that and refuse to take advantage of it. And
That's
this
sad.
is what we get when we get.
That's sad. I'm gonna say this one more damn time. Mm-hmm. The Bucks had no damn business losing last night's game.
No, they don't.
They had no damn business losing last night's game. Now, I will say this about Kevin Durant, though. Mm-hmm. He got 49 points on taking just 23 shots. That's amazing. That's amazing. He had over 50% of shots, obviously. He had
70 to be exact.
I'm sorry?
70 to be exact. He shot 70% from the field. Once again, that's when you're being efficient with your shots, right? Mm-hmm. Milwaukee, are you taking notes?
and you know what? Speaking of, I'm gonna go back to Budenholzer for a minute. Speaking of Durant, when you see a guy going off and cooking the way he did last night, you double team. Why didn't he double him?
At some point, right?
Why didn't he double him? Because what a threat he had. I mean, sure, Jeff Green had a good game. He had a great game, actually. But
yeah, he had 27, yeah.
You had James Harden on one leg. Mm-hmm. You tell me you couldn't double off of him?
James Harden only had 5 points. Yeah, why not, right?
Why not? Get the ball out of his hands. Get the ball out of KD's hands. He's cooking. And boy, that shot he hit over Middleton to ice the game, that three-pointer, that was a thing of beauty, man. That's a dude who's 7 feet tall, can handle the rock like down the perimeter, can get his own shot, can shoot from anywhere. It's amazing.
Yo, he outshot the Milwaukee Bucks from three in terms of percentage. 44% versus 40%.
Yeah.
Chris Middleton shot 3 for 10.
Yeah.
Again, Chris Middleton, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and understand that yes, you are marching from outside the arc, but if it ain't working, it ain't working. When we've seen this movie before, dude. We've seen this movie before. Scary monster all of a sudden gets handled. Right. Dude, you're not scary no more. You're shooting 3 for 10. At one point when you're like, maybe 3 for 6?
Yeah.
Start taking them inside, Playboy. Right. Start taking better shots. But I don't want to sit here and continue to beat up the Bucks because we could do this all day and we would literally be talking about the exact same thing, which is they need to shoot better. Now, what's going on? And they're getting out coached, right?
Yeah.
But right now the Philadelphia 76ers are giving it to the Atlanta Hawks right now.
It's been so bad. It's been so bad. I switched to women's soccer. They play in Nigeria. And hey, look,
we outside, yo.
Hey, you know what though? That's not the bag on women's sports. We got the best women's squad in the world.
We do, sure do.
So props to the women's squad and more equal pay. But still, the point being is that it's gotten so bad because I love the women's soccer squad. I love the men's soccer squad, but I love the NBA better, playoffs better. And the fact that the Sixers the Sixers had no damn business losing game 4 either. Mm-hmm. They shouldn't have lost game 4.
But once again, 0 for 13. Now, I'll say this, right? At least for Joel, it wasn't like Embiid was taking a bunch of threes. Right. He was just taking. He just couldn't hit from anywhere. Now, maybe he was just off, or maybe the Atlanta Hawks defense is a lot better than what we give them credit for. Yeah. Either way, he shot about 0 for 12, 0 for 13 in that second half, and that was a huge part of why they gave up that lead to the Atlanta Hawks in Game 4.
Yeah, I just state that Philadelphia is the better team. This should have been a gentleman's sweep.
It should have been, but once again, we got. That's why you play the game, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see how this happens. And even if they somehow win Game 5, they still got to go to the ATL in Game 6, and they gotta win there. And if they can't win there, then
and it can happen in the Game 7.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. So there you go. Nigeria just made a hell of a save. So I still think whoever wins, all that being said about the NBA playoffs, I still think that the winner of the Nets-Bucks series is going to win it all. As much as I like Phoenix, I think the Bucks Well, the Nets especially, and even the Bucks are better on paper than Phoenix. And if somehow Utah gets there, they're definitely beating Utah. They definitely are.
I'll say this.
Even though Utah will have home court, but still.
Yeah, but I'll say this.
Excuse me.
I've lost all confidence in the Milwaukee Bucks from here on until forever, until they prove me wrong, right?
Right.
Because they keep doing it's the complete and utter definition of insanity. You keep doing the exact same things wrong over and over again, and we're right back to where we were the past 2 years in the playoffs, where they seem to be beating themselves and putting themselves in this situation. Yo, if somehow the Milwaukee Bucks come out of the series, I will be completely shocked. And if they do, they're not beating Philly. They're not. And no, I don't think so. I don't.
That's fair.
Because of what we've seen of them out of their history. Right. And I would just be like, okay, maybe the Brooklyn Nets somehow broke down and he just couldn't finish the series. That'll be the way that I see the Bucks winning that series. Not the fact that they turned it around and figured out that, hey, we shouldn't be doing what we've been doing. We need to do this in order to win. And hey, it's working. No, I just think that it'll take a Brooklyn collapse in order for them to win this series. And the only way I have Brooklyn over Phoenix, because I like Phoenix and I like the way they're looking right now, is because they're known entities. Like we've been saying before, they're veteran field with Jeff Green, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, and of course the big three that they have, Joe Harris. They have a lot of good veterans on that squad.
They do.
And on paper, they're supposed to beat them. My thing is when we finally get them out there, one, how will they match up? And two, the health of the Brooklyn Nets. Because one thing, I haven't seen it yet so far in the playoffs, is the Phoenix Suns making mistakes. Now it'll be a new stage for them making it to the finals if they make it, and I don't know how they're going to react being under that type of duress, right? But as of right now, I haven't seen them make any big mistakes yet to put them in a situation to lose a series. Even though it got real competitive with the Lakers, and a lot of people, even myself, thought that the Lakers would beat them. But when we got to Game 5, I said, uh-oh. But of course, also dealt with injuries, which is another reason why I believe if Brooklyn can't be full string, that the Phoenix Suns could take advantage of that and win the series against them. Sure, but as KD showed us last night, I can still be KD. I can still be KD, and I'll still put up 49 on you. Even though my hair look horrible, and I need a bob up here in Brooklyn. I don't know, or just shave it all the way. I don't know why, yo, you make way too much money, KD, to have your hairline look like mine, yo. Your hair should not look like mine, KD. Stop it. Stop it, bro. It shouldn't.
Or mine, for that matter. I forgot to shave. I forgot to shave the top of my head this morning.
You and me both. We looking like the reverse Road Warriors over here with the reverse mohawks. But my God, dude, I'm gonna need KD to do a little bit better with his hairdo. But hey, you put up 49, 17 to 10, it'll shut me up real quick for a brief moment. Yeah. Until I see the back of your head again.
Someone said on Facebook today. Someone in the meme said, "Hey, KD, if you choose another team, choose the Clippers." Okay.
I hate those in the MEAC that like to compare Kevin Durant's head to the way that A&T's football field looks. For those who haven't seen it, and especially in the fall, it looks horrible. It's bad. It is what it is.
And it's spotty.
It's all y'all.
Spotty is his hair.
Let's
put it that way.
To hell with all of y'all that make those shows. Yeah. So yeah.
But anyway, one more thing on the NBA before we get to the HBCU Sports segment. Your boy got broken off today, Scott Brooks. I didn't see that coming. You look like you're doing a celebratory dance. So give me your thoughts.
A little bit
on him getting broken off today. Sounds like they said that it was mutual, but he made it plead. They said it 3 times. It wasn't my choice.
Well, technically his contract was up.
Correct.
Right? And if you don't have a contract by the end of the season, it's a 75% chance you out of here.
True.
If you're working as a lame duck in any situation as a player or a coach, and you don't have a new contract while you're playing in that final season,
right.
They're really evaluating what you're doing, right? And that's been one of the things that fans have been talking about a lot throughout the season, is that they probably need a new voice in there. And I'm kind of in an agreement with them, because one of the things I hated to see this team look horrible at on a consistent basis was defense.
Right.
And for whatever reason, Scott Brooks could not talk this team or get this team to play better defense. Hopefully, what they can do is get a new head coach in it. Well, they will get a new head coach in here, but also get someone in here that preaches defense, and get a couple of vets to come in here too with these young bodies that they got, and play a little bit better defensively. Because if they choose to keep both Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook, and with the new talent that they got that's playing better, they can just go ahead and get consistent defensive, improved defensive play, and a third consistent scorer on that team. Maybe it can become Rui, depending upon the coach that comes in here. Hopefully they can coach him into that, because he's shown in moments that he can be. Or maybe Davis Bertans shoots better with a whole year under his belt, where he doesn't have to be away from the team because of COVID, and maybe he improves. And then, of course, to get Thomas Bryant back, the big man in the middle that they lost to the injury in the beginning of the year. So hopefully with all of that and a new head coach, they can turn this team around. I'll be intrigued to see what happens, especially with the names that they've thrown out there as potential hires. But the other firings that have been going on have been equally as intriguing to me.
Yeah. Stan Van Gundy. You kind of saw that coming. I mean, he's an old school guy. He's great X's and O's wise, but
yeah,
I heard Antonio Daniels say on NBA radio on XM, Sirius XM, the part of the word relationships is the word relate.
Wow.
How do you relate to the players?
Yeah.
And that was very profound what he said. Is that Stan Van, as smart as he is, as sharp as he is, I love his stance on social justice, by the way. I love that. But even still, all that, you gotta be able to relate to your young stars. This is a younger generation. This is the Twitter generation. He didn't have to worry about Twitter and all that shit. Back in when he coached the Heat, and the Magic. I mean, even with Dwight Howard, he struggled a little bit with Dwight Howard because it's about relations. I mean, as much as we love Stan Van, his gruff personality, we found it pretty funny and hilarious. It kind of wears on the players too. And for him to be out after 1 year, though,
it speaks volumes.
It speaks loudly.
Yeah.
So I loved him when he was on TV. I loved him when he was an analyst for ESPN. He's probably going to be on TNT. I think this is it for him. I think that, and which is too bad because I like him a lot. The man knows his stuff. He just, again, part of the word relationships is relate. How do you relate to your players? And that goes a long way. You can't be successful in the league and not get along with your superstars, your young players. So this was, God, Philadelphia's beating the dog piss out of Atlanta, 83-58. I'm gonna turn it back to the soccer game now. So and I think that so I don't know if you heard about this. Is one last thing before we get to the HBCU Sports segment. If you heard about what's going on in Dallas, right? They broke off their GM, Donnie Nelson.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And so apparently there's an analytics dude that's been running things behind the scenes that a lot of people do not like. And it's to the point where it may be wearing on Coach Rick Carlisle.
Okay.
And so he and Donnie Nelson, I think, are tied to the hip. So it may be, people are postulating that it they won't be too surprised if Carlisle wants out. Now, if Carlisle wants out, and if you're Milwaukee, once you go out in the second round, do you bring Carlisle to coach the Bucks?
That's a real good question, right?
Yeah.
That is a real good question. I mean, Carlisle once again is a experienced vet. Remind me, he did take a team to the NBA Finals once, right?
Yeah, and won.
Yeah. So see, there you go. So
beat Miami.
That's right, with Dallas. I forgot.
Yeah.
Once again, a voice that'll help this young team to be like, hey, we can't do that. Can't keep doing that. Mm-hmm. Let's get better. So it's a possibility that could be the case. Yep. Could
be. All right. Let's get to where we want to get to, the HBCU Sports segment, because we have a lot of reasons to be happy as Aggies and as HBCU graduates. So I'm not going to steal thunder. You're smiling. I was smiling the weekend. Let's just say it had to do with some track and field. Let's just say it had to do with some school representing. And let's just say this, it's about one school represented. So Dwayne, take it away. I'm feeling some bits and pieces, but I'm gonna let you have your shine.
I'm so glad I went to A&T. But I'll say this, right? Now, I'm always proud of my institution. Win, lose, or draw, it doesn't matter, right? Mm-hmm. And then also, let me preface what I'm going to say with this. Congratulations to the 36 individuals that made their way to Eugene to compete for national championships. Those that competed in the semis and those that reached into the finals to attempt to win a national championship. With that said, of all of the student athletes that made it to the finals, the majority of them came from North Carolina A&T, with the exception of 3 that will be Deshaun Sloan from Prairie View A&M. Actually 4. Deshaun Sloan from Prairie View, Joseph Amoa from Coppin State, Kenneth Preed from Texas Southern, and Relazon Bluefield from Tennessee State. So those are the only ones that were not Aggies that competed in their respective sport, in respective event in the finals. But A&T walked away with several national championships and actually scored enough points in both the men's and women's to be ranked as high or as low as 4th in each sex. And I'll get to that in just a moment. Now, on the women's side, oh my God, the one that was considered to be the show stealer on the women's side, Cambria Sturgis, the winner of the 100 and 200 meters, and also was a member of the 4x1 team that came in 3rd place. Sturgis's 200-meter time of 22:12 on Saturday was the 4th fastest time in NCAA history. And shout out to my man T, the track guy, who I do my HBCU talks with on IG Live, also pointed out that is the 2nd fastest time by an NCAA female athlete running that event leading up to an Olympic trial. That was also huge. Yeah. And also, Sturgis is the first female athlete to win both the 100 and 200 meters since Oregon's Ariana Washington did it in 2016. So congratulations to Miss Sturgis and the women's track and field team, which also consisted of 2 runners in the 100-meter 100-meter hurdles. The young lady that did the high jump, and who else competed for the women in the finals. Either way, they scored 31 total points as a team, which was good enough to net them 4th place. They were tied for 4th place with Alabama on the women's side for the national championship, losing to the eventual champion UCLA. Now on the men's side, talk about another gentleman that let's talk about another Aggie that stole the show. Randolph Ross.
Son of the coach, yep.
Yes, AKA Junior, who came in 1st place in the men's 400. Oh my God. His time in the 400 was the fastest time in the world this year, 43:85. He said after the race to see, like, he grew up watching track and field, of course, because his dad ran track at Clemson.
Yeah.
Now, growing up watching track and field, he saw athletes run the run 43s in the 400, and said to myself, oh, wow. But never thought he would see that number attached to his name. Right. And it felt good to see that done. But yes, that 400 time is the third fastest in collegiate history. The third fastest in collegiate history. And he was also a member of that 4x400 team that won the national championship, coming in first place in that event. He was also part of the 4x1 team that came in fourth. Oh my God, they had just missed third place. But once again, thanks to the performance of all of the gentlemen that participated in the finals, that 4x4 team, that 4x1 team, Trevor Smith, who was also on that 4x4 team, also ran the 4x4, well, not the 4x4, but the 400 with Randolph Ross coming in fourth place. Brandon Hicklin, the long jumper, who came in ranked 16th or 23rd in the nation in that event, finished fourth. So kudos to him. Good. Also, shout out to Javante Harris, who competed in the 200, and who else? Akbar, Abbas Akbar, who runs the 800. They generated enough points, 35 to be exact, to finish third. A&T, that small school in Greensboro, North Carolina, finished in third place as a team in the outdoor track and field national championship. So not only did they walk away with individual champions on both sides, the men and the women, they came in third and fourth respectively in the men's and women's as a team. This is the highest that a men's program has finished on the Division I level. I had to make sure I get that right before my man T, the track guy out of St. Augustine, corrects me, because of course St. Aug has 39 combined national championships. Yeah, they're great in track. Indoor, yes, in indoor and outdoor. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, so, they had the 39 total in indoor and outdoor track and field, and they've been doing it on the D2 level, but this is the highest that any program, actually male or female, has finished on a Division I level. So kudos out to them. Kudos out to Coach Dwayne Ross, who was named National Coach of the Year. And of course, with all of the All-Americans that have been named from the program as well. And to all of the Aggies that will be competing, I think it's this weekend, in the Olympic trials in their respective events. It's going to be, oh my God, for everyone who was beaming on the HBCU world and to HBCU fans. Shout out to the HBCU fans who didn't go to HBCUs, including my man Jacquez Green that follows me on Twitter. Yes, that Jacquez Green from the University of Florida, who shouted out North Carolina A&T and talked about how great of a job that they did. Oddly enough, sorry, Jacquez, this ain't directed towards you, but can you tell me the team that A&T, the men, beat out on the men's side to finish third?
You asking me or just?
I'm asking you.
I'm guessing Florida, Alabama, one of the SEC schools.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was. I think it was both of them. Well, most definitely, they just squeaked out the University of Florida, Mr. Channing Crowder.
That's right.
Mr. Channing Crowder. They beat out your Gators to become third place. Yes, that small school out of Greensboro, North Carolina, beat your Gators to come into third place on the men's side. Oh my God, man! Oh man, it made me feel so good to see that. Matter of fact, I think the women beat the Gators too as well. But hey, I'm not going to sit here and gloat without looking. But they did what they did. So again, congratulations to all the student athletes. Congratulations to all of the Aggies, and good luck to everyone that's going to be competing for their respective countries. Because it's not just the United States. We have those international students that will be competing for their respective countries for an opportunity to compete in the Olympics, even though I don't believe the Olympics should be happening because of everything that's going on with COVID there in Japan. That's a whole nother conversation for another time. Right. But if you're going to do it, fine, begrudgingly, I'm hoping that you guys do well so you can go and compete for your respective countries. Yeah. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah. And the sweetest thing about that young lady Sturgis winning, I don't know if you caught the clip. I'm sure you did. Of the final, they talked about this young ladies from USC and Oregon and USC who were thought to be the favorites.
Tierra Clark,
they barely mentioned Sturgis. Just a throwaway. A&T is in this heat, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Until the end, when she was pulling away from those two young ladies from Oregon and SC. And I think the young lady from Oregon came in fourth.
Yeah.
The young lady from SC, both sisters, by the way. The lady from not that it means anything, but the young lady from SC came in third.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Oddly enough, my man T, the track guy who actually picked Sturgis to win, I think it was the 100. I can't remember the order, but hey, check out my Instagram account. You get a chance to watch the conversation between me and the track guy. He picked her to win one, but picked her to come in second in another event behind Miss Clark. But yeah, like you said, they just were completely disrespectful towards her, as if she didn't have a chance. You got to remember, she came in first in her region. And she has been winning events and been extremely competitive in both events for the past 2 years. It's not like she's new to this.
Right.
So I understand, you know what, dude, if you've been following those teams that are on the west side of the region and you feel as though that they might be better or whatever. Yo, Cabria came into the 100 with a time of 10:92, which is not slow at all. I think it's still
no, it's not.
It's still second or third in the 100 so far in the nation.
Right.
And they just completely just brushed her off like it's just an afterthought. How disrespectful, how utterly disrespectful. And then I don't want to get into the conspiracy theories of how no one congratulated her after both runs or after both wins. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that dude. All I'm going to say is I understand why they probably, if that was true, why they probably did it. Because they're like, yo, she's not supposed to beat us. And she beat us. She's from this small school in Greensboro, North Carolina, that no one has ever heard of. But you heard of them. Just not in track and field. Right. But you are now. Yeah. So welcome to our world. Yes. Congratulations to everybody. Yes.
And props to them. I'll tell you what, Dwayne Ross needs a raise.
Yeah.
In the worst way. I don't know. Now, I don't know if he's going to get, I'm just saying, for him to take A&T's track program to where it is now.
Yeah. And it leaps and bounds above where a lot of people thought they would be at this point right now. I'll say this: from my understanding, he is the second highest paid coach out of all the coaches at A&T right now. Mm-hmm. And of course, the
second highest, you said?
The second highest, from my understanding. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I'm hearing. So, that's something I'm going to have to check on and see if that's actual factual. But I can see how that could be the case. Because I will say this. A part of A&T's move to the Big South had a lot with track and field in mind. Oh, it did. I know and making sure that they were prepped to compete nationally. Yeah. A lot of the conversation. Hey, we getting close to that time. It's almost time. At the end of the month, they end up leaving the MEAC. I guess I can go ahead and spill some of these beans, but not spill them completely. But yeah, part of it had track and field in mind with that move, so that everyone can compete on a national level, but primarily the track and field team, because they seem to be leaps and bounds above everyone else competing on a national level. Now, the football team, as good as they are right now, they're top 15. Mm-hmm. They're getting there. But, track and field has already won several individual national championships, so they're looking for them to improve as well. So
nice. Didn't know that. With that said, let's get to the random shit segment, brought to you and sponsored by no one. I'm gonna let you get to yours in a second, but I'm gonna share something that's a little personal.
Yes.
Juneteenth has been officially recognized as a national holiday. It was passed unanimously in the Senate, believe it or not, how divided the Senate is.
Exactly.
It apparently passed the House.
Oh, so it did go through the House and pass. Okay.
That's from what I've read right before the podcast tonight.
Nice.
The House has passed it. So it's going to President Biden's desk, in which he's expected to sign it into law. Now, I would say this. As great as that is, I'm not poo-pooing that. It's to recognize the Black Independence Day, African American Independence Day, essentially.
Yes.
As a national holiday is huge. And again, it's come on the heels of what happened last summer, the summer of racial awakening in the United States of America. I just wish and hope and wish that they'll also go ahead, if they are in the spirit of recognizing things as far as the African American citizens concerned, and other people of color for that matter, to go ahead and pass that George Floyd Act, Policing Act. Also go ahead and pass that John Lewis Voting Act. I don't know the exact names of both of those acts. I know they have those names involved in them. But if otherwise, I mean, we get the platitudes with Juneteenth. We get all that. And look, I don't care if it's going to go the same route as the Cinco de Mayo with the commercialization and everything else. That's just beside the point.
Yo, man, it's coming. It may not happen in our lifetime, but it's
coming. It's coming. But the point is, it's a great day for African Americans and all Americans. It's not just African Americans. Oh my God, Trey Young is out of the game with a big pack of ice on his shooting shoulder.
Oh wow! How much time is left?
9:51, 9 minutes and 50 seconds in the fourth quarter.
How down are they?
Oh shit, just 13 now.
Oh, only 13? Wow, that's just a lot then. Unless they're trying to ice him up so he can make a return, but okay.
No, he's in street clothes.
Oh, he's in street clothes. That's not good at all.
Yeah, he's in street clothes.
Yeah.
But the fact thing is that Atlanta's made a comeback. Within 11. But anyway, the point is, getting back to this conversation. Sorry about that, folks. Is that's what you get for having the TV on in the playoffs. Let's just hope that Juneteenth becoming a federal holiday would hopefully get the ball rolling. I have my doubts, but get the ball rolling for George Floyd, the George Floyd Policing Act, and the John Lewis Voting Act.
Yo, there's so many things that need to be addressed as it pertains to Black people in law. It's not even funny. And it's funny how, we want to go ahead and sign in the fact that Juneteenth is a national holiday, but yet they don't want to talk about slavery in schools. Right. So we celebrate the emancipation of slavery, but yet we don't want to talk about why we had to get to a point of and then, like you said, with the Voter Act, things that deal with police brutality, just a bunch of other laws that need to be addressed that, in my eyes, are a little bit more important. You know what? I would rather have those signed and still have to go to work on Juneteenth than to have Juneteenth and still be looked at and handled the way that I'm currently being handled as an African-American male, even when I'm trying to vote. Right. It's just problematic to me. It's a small victory, but at the same time, man, I want I want the issue of race to not just be talked about in the middle and only be touched on in the middle and not handle everything else that goes along with it. If we're going to have this conversation, we need to have this conversation. We can't keep pussyfooting around with it.
Well said. And by the way, not to get distracted again, Trey Young is back in the game. He wasn't in street clothes. He was in his warm-ups. He took his warm-up off and said, fuck it, I'm going back in, but then now I'm down by 15.
Trey Young, we out here, yo.
Ice Trey.
I'm sorry, yo, that clip of the New York Knicks fans talking smack to Trey Young that I sent you, dude, that has to be one of the funniest things I've seen in the country. That's Spider-Man. Spider-Man talking shit about Trey Young. Only in New York. Only in New York. Only in New York. You see that. Yo, that one fan that said, yo, Trae Young looks like my dad's dick. I don't know what my dad's dick looked like. He looks like my dad's dick. That thing, my God, that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life, dude. But that's what happens when you get alcohol and arrogance.
And no common sense.
And no common sense all in one place.
Yeah,
yes.
Right. You about to say something. I know you have something for the random shit segment.
Speaking of New York, my God. Oh, my God. I just find it funny how, the sports world kind of went in on Deflategate and Tom Brady and how we talked about the Houston Astros and the trash cans. And then we talked about Spygate and your boy, Bill Belichick and all of this conversation, cheating. Then all of a sudden, thank you to the Atlantic for coming up with that article about spider tack, right? And then all of a sudden we started thinking about spin rates and pitcher spin rates and whether or not, this is another form of cheating in Major League Baseball. Now, of course, there's always been some sort of substance used by pitchers in Major League Baseball so they can get a better grip on the ball.
Time.
Yes, resin is legal. They've used pine tar. And you know what? I get it because you have a slippery ball with a slippery hand. The pitchers who are now throwing well over 95 miles an hour on a regular basis.
I know there's no hitters too.
And yes, and the thing is, you want these guys to have more control over these balls when they're throwing them because you don't want to see more accidents happen. I completely get it, right? Mm-hmm. My thing is, though, if it is illegal, it is illegal. And we need to be treated as such. And my thing is, if you're going to go ahead and handle one thing that's considered illegal one way, you have to treat everything across the board the exact same way. Right. Which is why I scoffed at Spygate. Which is why I scoffed at Deflategate. Which is why I scoffed at the whole concept of the Houston Astros and the trash cans. You can't get mad at me because my cheating has evolved better than yours. We're all out here cheating. My cheating just better than yours, and you're mad that you didn't think about it first. So now here we go with the spider tack. Once that article came out, people started to do research because they started to notice that there were certain pitchers. See, this is where the fan has become way too overeducated about what's going on in sports now. They're starting to study spin rate. Something I hadn't known about for 45 fucking years of my life until like last week.
Oh, man.
And didn't care to know about, but now it's a thing. I mean, I get it, I understand, but my God, that's what we're studying spin rates on the ball now?
That's from dudes who don't have girlfriends, who live in their mother's basement. That's the only thing they have to hang their hat on. It's like... Just leave it alone.
I understand the game is involved in physics. I get all of that, right? I know. But my God, we're taking it to a point where we're studying way too much. But reporters, it's something for people to talk about now, new fodder. And now reporters are starting to investigate and ask questions. So the one thing that I completely forgot about last week to bring up, and I'm glad I remembered to do it this week. Your boy Garrett Cole was interviewed about spider tack.
That wasn't a good look at all.
And his response was golden. I want to make sure I get the quote correct because I don't want to miss out on this gold given to us by Garrett Cole. He said, and I quote, I don't know. I don't know how to quite answer that. You don't know how to quite answer whether or not you used the substance or an illegal substance.
It was not a good look for him. It was not a good look for him.
Oh, my God.
I just held my head. I was like, oh, shit.
Now, you know what? There actually been other players, hitters that have been like, you know what? If they need to use it and it keeps me from hitting my face with a baseball, so be it. But my thing is, it's still illegal, dog. If it's illegal, it's legal. Treat it like it's illegal. Right. And then Here comes Major League Baseball, looking like they're going to handle something, right? And they say what? Illegal substances, if you find guilty of using them, you're going to get suspended.
10 games.
Yay! 10 games. With pay. So basically, if I get caught cheating, I get to sit at the crib and still get a check.
Guaranteed contracts in the sport with guaranteed contracts. This is what happens when you have strong union leadership. You get to do whatever the fuck you want on your own fucking terms.
Yeah.
When pitchers get suspended for 5 games, they're not talking about 5 starts.
No.
They're talking 5
games. Oh, 5
so
games, yeah.
At the most, at the worst, they'll miss 1 start and still get paid. So with this 10 games, again, it's not 10 starts, 10 games, which at the worst,
it's 2 starts.
If it's Garrett Cole or whoever, it's just 2 starts at the absolute worst. And they still get paid. So NFL, if you want to get guaranteed contracts, if you want to get shit like this, do what the NBA and MLB did. Guaranteed contracts. I think the NHL has guaranteed contracts as well. I'm not too sure. I think MLS is guaranteed, the soccer league. I'm not too sure. But either way, guaranteed contracts, strong union leadership, get you that. So NFL, DeMaurice Smith, whoever the hell is in charge, helping them be in charge, that's what you're missing. Strong union leadership.
Well, the other thing that we're missing is, unfortunately, this isn't being treated like other sports crimes. We had a fucking congressional hearing on the Deflategate. They were looking to investigate phones because a ball was deflated. Yo, this isn't even being talked about. We talked about the trash cans. We talked about everybody else, man. Either give this the same attention as everything else, or I don't want to hear shit about nothing else.
Right.
Nothing else, because this is just as bad.
Remember, speaking of wasting time in Congress, wasting time, remember that whole thing with Balco, the cream and the clear, when they called a congressional hearing to interview Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire, Roger Clemens, and I think Andy Pettit. A total fucking waste of time. A total waste of time. So yeah, they tell athletes to stick to sports and not politics. How about the politicians stay the hell out of sports?
Yes.
Can we do that? Can we do that? As if we don't have anything else that's more pressing going on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, the economy, unemployment, tariffs on exported goods. You think
human rights
about that? But anyway, human rights. But no, let's talk. Let's concern ourselves about some trivial shit in sports. But that's not here nor there. I don't know if you have anything else, man. Right now, I can't think of anything else.
Well, just one real quick.
Oh, man. I got a story for you too, but go ahead.
Okay, just real quick. Yeah. It's football camp time, and all of these colleges are holding camps, not only for high school athletes, but for collegiate athletes to come and work out. And there's a big time one going on at Jackson State. My God, I say this is the reason why. Now, I mean, not Ali, but Prime was actually going to do this before he got into coaching, with something to this effect. He's having a camp coming up this weekend, and there's some big names at this camp, dog. Terrell Owens is going to be there.
Oh yeah, I read about that. I heard about that.
Yeah, Antoine Bethea is going to be there, who of course is an alum of Howard. Nate Newton's going to be there, who is an alum of Florida A&M. Who else is going to be there? Nate Newton went to FAMU. Okay. There's a lot of big names that are going to be down there in Jackson. As much as I criticize Deion Sanders, this is one of the things that he does right. in terms of getting these student athletes around NFL caliber. Well, not just NFL caliber, but Pro Bowl caliber. Some of them have won Super Bowls. Some of them are Hall of Famers.
Yep.
And get them around them so they can learn from them. Again, something that he didn't necessarily have to be a head coach to do.
Right.
But he is one, and thankfully he is one, and he's getting these kids exposure and to pro athletes and pro caliber coaches so they can go ahead and improve themselves as student athletes. So I applaud him for this. This is one of the things, where he does this and I'm in line with him on him. And I'm like, yo, great job here, man. So, that's just a huge look for that program and what they're doing for the student athletes that have been invited to come out there and participate with them.
You know what? That's great. That's awesome. I remember reading about that earlier. My story is about your hat. So we talked about it through an intro. My mother is a Brooklynite.
Okay.
She tries to be all Southern now in North Carolina, but she's a Brooklynite through and through. So growing up, I mentioned she's a Brooklyn Dodgers fan.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't care too much for the New York Giants because they were in Harlem on the Polo Grounds. She had people, I should say we because they were my relatives too, have a lot of people in Harlem, but they, Ben Simmons hit both his free throws, but they,
wow, that's news,
I know, that's newsworthy. Ding, short alert. But yeah, it was all about the Dodgers, and she didn't really like the Yankees all that much. But I'm a Yankees fan, son's a Yankees fan. But anyway, long story short, when the Brooklyn Dodgers left to go to LA in the late 1950s, she was an adolescent.
Mm-hmm.
And she has not forgiven them damn near over 60 years later. Has not forgiven them. So she's like, damn, nothing worse anyway. Not worth watching anyway. But mind you, the Dodgers and while in Los Angeles have won multiple World Series, but that's not there. I'm sure she knows that, but she's in her own state of now, and that's okay. That's okay. I love pettiness from my mother. I love the pettiness. But the point is that we're seeing that in New York on that on your hat that's brought back those stories that she tells about that stuff. So it's all good.
So yeah, reason why I got the hat, of course, first and foremost, Willie Mays, right?
Yep.
Right.
Say hey, kid. Yep.
Yes. And I most definitely love to pay homage to the greats. Whenever I get my ball caps, that's why I got, the old school Brooklyn cap for the Dodgers, for, of course, the one and only Jackie Robinson. And, I've got one for the Phillies for multiple reasons. Before I became a Atlanta Braves fan, I followed the Philadelphia Phillies growing up, of course, with Pete Rose, Mike Smith, and I
remember that squad, yeah.
Yeah, that Phillies team from the 80s. So, I was always enamored with them. And then, of course, Al Holland, alum of North Carolina A&T, that also pitched for that Phillies team back then. So, okay. So I pay homage to him with that cap. But this one, when I've had several iterations of this cap for several years, and whenever I will rock it, people would always point and go, Max, no, it's not.
Look at the colors. Look at the colors, man.
But it was around that time period in which the Mets went to black, orange, and blue.
Right.
So they had that slight confusion, but I'm like, no, that's not it. Then, trying to explain it to people who 50% of the time were drunk. I'm saying it's the New York Giants. She's like, oh, the football team. No, not them Bamas either. So I've always had my fill of attempting to explain the cap to those that don't know. But for those that do know, it's always a great conversation talking to them about the Giants. But I wore this cap today because I wanted to pay homage. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, the 1973 New York Knicks basketball team, the anniversary of them winning their world championship was earlier this week. Am I correct?
Right. Yes.
So, yeah, in honor of them, I'll put on my legendary Willis Reed. Yeah, thinking about the whole wrong Reed. My Willis Reed t-shirt, straight out of where? Grambling State University.
Correct.
So yeah, I'm wearing my captain t-shirt. Had to rock that today. Then I'll go ahead. I'll send you a link so you can go ahead and attach it to the description of where you can get this and other legendary tees that pay homage to NBA and MLB stars from HBCUs.
Nice. On that note, on a great note, let's call it. Thank y'all for tuning in to tonight's podcast. Please check out the Wayne's website, the Yard/HBCU Sports, reps of all things HBCU Sports. Sleaze the Riddle every Tuesday night on Facebook Live. It's a great show with him coaching the crew. Also, his great work on herosports.com where he talks about all things FCS athletics as it pertains to HBCUs. Please visit my website, www.theklowntimes.net. Also, please get the merch at cafepress.com.
The merch.
And the description will be the description. The link will be in the description beneath this video come tomorrow afternoon, as well as the link, the aforementioned link to the past NBA sports stars and all other sports stars who went to HBCUs as well. So you can get their gear and everything else. I'm thinking I'm gonna go to that website too and cop a few things. And one more thing, well, two more things. Hit the subscribe button. I hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. Hit the subscribe button. Feel free to share, comment, like the video, whatever the hell you want to do. You want to talk shit, you can do that too. Hey, we're grown. We can take it. And also, wash your hands, mask up. Please get vaccinated if you haven't done so already. I want to be able to go to restaurants again and not worry about wearing a mask. But until then, y'all take care of yourselves, okay? Be safe. Enjoy these NBA playoffs tonight. And by the way, the Hawks are within 6. Oh my goodness! So we're about to tune in to this. We're about to turn in, and they about threw the ball away. So I'm gonna tune in. Dwayne's gonna tune in, so you all can tune in. So take care. Peace out.